The wrongful death trial over the 2021 heliski crash that killed Czech billionaire Peter Kellner is now in its second week in Anchorage in a jury. The jury is hearing competing testimony over what caused that crash and whether a faster emergency response could have made a difference. Investigative reporter Johnson Kuhn was in court again today and has that update.
In March 2021, Peter Kellner was one of 3 international guests aboard an Airbus AS-350B3 helicopter on a heli-ski trip arranged through Tordilla Mountain Lodge. The aircraft was operated by Wasilla-based Saloy Helicopters. Kellner was among 5 people killed, along with a pilot, Anchorage-based Zachary Russell, 2 guides, and another client from the Czech Republic. The lawsuit filed by Kellner's family claims he survived the initial impact and was conscious after the crash, but died before rescuers arrived because operators did not quickly realize the helicopter was down and did not activate an emergency response. The National Transportation Safety Board has already found pilot error in a whiteout encounter near the Knik Glacier.
The whiteout conditions that the pilot likely encountered and was able to be backed up by the witness or the one survivor that was on board is a peril that helicopter pilots up here on the North Slope or in a wintry environment encounter all the time. But it is one of those perils, one of those risks that need to be mitigated.
But the civil case is also focused on what happened after the helicopter went down, specifically whether operators recognized the emergency quickly and activated their emergency response plan. A plaintiff expert, helicopter operations witness Corey Taylor, told jurors Tordilla Mountain Lodge did not take key steps once the aircraft was overdue.
Did it send a reconnaissance flight or initiate its ERP?
They did not.
Did TML alert basic search and rescue resources available to it that night?
They did not.
Defense attorneys pushed back, arguing Taylor is describing best practices, not necessarily violations of federal rules.
I think that they were probably within the FAA regulations, but I would consider it to be outside best practice.
One of the key voices in the case is the lone survivor, Czech snowboarder David Horvath, who was described focusing on his family as he tried to stay alive for hours after the crash.
My lovely wife, we have a kid. That's what I'm thinking about mostly. 3rd kid coming. You need to survive, come on.
And pilot Zach Russell's fiance told Alaska's news source in 2021 the last time she saw him, they'd finally settled on a wedding date. But a late-night call that same day informed her he wouldn't be coming home.
He stood by the helicopter before he took off and blew me kisses, like he always did. And then he just flew right over my head and waved back down at me.
Johnson Kuhn, Alaska's news source.
The NTSB says it could not determine whether an earlier rescue would have saved the passengers who died, but concluded that a quicker response could have at least reduced the survivors' injuries. Testimony in the civil trial is expected to continue this week. Well, a series of small gas leaks could turn into a big emergency in Anchorage. In the last 3 weeks, ENSTAR says that 10 gas meters have been tampered with at commercial buildings like Home Depot and Lowe's. The latest was this morning outside the Natural Pantry grocery store in Midtown. Someone walked by, smelled gas, and reported it. ENSTAR says the leaks have been deliberate. Whoever has been doing it has been loosening bolts and screws, and in one case, even removing a whole cover plate. ENSTAR says loose equipment, a hissing sound, or smell like eggs could indicate danger.
So what we would say to anyone who might smell gas or hear gas, remove yourself from the area, call 911, and then call ENSTAR. And again, we respond 24/7.
The ENSTAR number to report a gas leak is on your screen. That information is also on our website. Now a live look outside at Ship Creek, where things have been booming since that first king salmon arrived. People have been out enjoying the weather, trying to land a big catch. Ship Creek is also where the Slammin' Salmon Derby is going, and that happens through the 20th. Jackie Purcell joins us now with the forecast. And Jackie, are we going to keep these amazing temperatures?
Yeah, we're going to keep these temperatures and even see them increase in the days to come. So We had talked about last week some of that colder air moving southward. It did over the weekend, but not too bad. Temperatures were into the 60s both Saturday and Sunday, and again on Monday, warmest out toward the Campbell Creek area here in the last hour into the upper 60s. There has been some rain pushing across parts of the interior. Fairbanks currently 48 degrees, 57 in Ketchikan, but we're holding on to the 60s between Anchorage and Palmer, 66 degrees. You can see that front moving through the interior as we speak, and that's the reason that the Fairbanks airport is showing that wet weather, and frosty conditions could be occurring into the interior. Indeed, this is what happened around the Dalton Highway at milepost 244, Adigan and Anaktuvik Pass, both seeing some snowfall over the weekend and going into today. So nothing like that in the south central region. Showers perhaps overnight and into tomorrow. A high on Tuesday of 62. Juneau goes to 69, 60 in Bethel with Fairbanks waiting for the warm up. A high on Tuesday, 59.
I needed to have something lined up just in case. I like Frank. I've worked with him well the last 4 years that he's been in the House. He represents a lot of the positions and values that I agree.
Now, days after Fairbanks Senator Robert Myers told us the possibility that he'd be a lieutenant governor candidate meant that he had to, quote, remain silent about his retirement hours before the filing deadline, when he endorsed a Fairbanks representative to take his place, and that person's wife filed to replace him in the House. Today, Tom Tomaszewski and his opponents are calling that political maneuvering. Republican Representative Frank Tomaszewski and his wife Harmony have not responded to Alaska's news sources' repeated requests for comment. One of Harmony's opponents, nonpartisan Joy Beth Cottle, said she was not surprised but stopped short of calling it political maneuvering, noting the view is widely shared. She sees the late filings as a matter of strategy within the rules and says she has been campaigning since November and is confident in her race.
Whether we play our cards early in the game or late in the game, there's definitely some benefits to playing earlier. You can get fundraising and start building your support base earlier. But also if you want to hold back and play at the last minute, that's what the rules are for. We have a deadline for a reason.
William Hunt, a Democrat running for Myers' Senate seat, acknowledged what he called political maneuvering, framing in a written statement to Alaska's news source, but said that his campaign is focused elsewhere. House Republican candidate John Anderson declined our request for an interview. A repeated request to Representative Tomaszewski and nor Harmony have been returned. We will keep you updated if we hear from them.
Well, I have some warmer weather news to impart in the coming forecast. Meantime, sunsets are late, the daylight hours continue to increase, and check out Anchorage, Fairbanks, Juneau, and Bethel. Their sunsets late. I'll be back with your forecast shortly.
I needed to have something lined up just in case. I like Frank. I've worked with him well the last 4 years that he's been in the House. He represents a lot of the positions and values that I agree with.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.